everyone, my name is Jazz Gillette, and today we're going to be talking about 5 signs to help you determine if you are in an unhealthy friendship. But I was inspired to make this video after the last story time video that I made, talking a bit about how I had to dump one of my toxic friends. And just a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist. However, I do have a lot of experience with having unhealthy friends. For whatever reason, I felt like I have been a magnet to those kinds of people, and I don't know if it's because it's a learning thing. Somebody told me it was because if you have the energy that is like positive and shiny, sometimes opposites attract, because people look for things that they can like latch onto and, you know, attach themselves onto and just kind of like suck the life out of them. Because if two really negative and depressed people get together, it's not going to work. But if one happy-go-lucky person gets together with a negative person, the negative and the energy drainer can feed off of the person with the high vibrations. I did write a list down, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading from my list. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna jump into this video. Have you ever had a friend who, no matter what you do, you always feel like you are in some sort of a competition? Number 1 is silent competition. It's not even like, sometimes you think you're crazy, like you're like, nah, maybe we're not competing, but it's like they can't just be happy for you. If you get a new job, they have to downplay the validity of your job. Or if you get a new man, before they even meet him, they're hating on him or hating on how he looks. And it's like, the first and most important question is that they should be asking you is, are you happy at this job? Or they should ask you, does this man treat you right? And if they're not doing that, chances are then you may have a friend who is in competition with you. And an example that I have was like, I think about, like, have you ever just wanted to lose weight and you're like, okay, I feel good, but you know, I want to lose a couple of pounds, and then they will say, oh, they'll discourage you from losing weight, or you lose weight and everybody tells you look good and you know you look good, but then they start saying, oh, you're too skinny, and then they turn around and they lose the same amount of weight or more, or something of that nature. So just beware of silent competitors, because they are like shady Shannons. Like, they're always throwing salt, and it's just because they are kind of incapable of being happy for you, because I think because there's something deep inside of them that's not happy with themselves, and they use you as a unit of measure to make themselves feel better. And so it's all fine and it's all cool when you are like not at your best, then they're happy for you. But then the minute you start doing good, then they can't take it, and it's a competition. I have an example about a friend. I put on an outfit and she was like, if you wear that, I'm not coming. And it seemed kind of like a joke at first, until she like plopped herself in my room and in my bed and like literally was like, I'm not going unless you take off that jacket, because that jacket is too cute and I didn't come with enough cute stuff. Okay, so anyways, I'm like, all right. So I took it off. I think one of the most important things to remember is that friendship is about community and it's not about competition. And sure, I know we're all humans, and occasionally things can get kind of competitive when you want to be the best, but your friendship shouldn't be built on competition. If you get engaged, your friend shouldn't be like, oh, I need to get engaged too. Or if you have a baby, it shouldn't be like, oh, now I have to have a baby. It shouldn't be like that. If you are getting in your head about if your friend is in competition with you, this may be something that you want to analyze and evaluate. Number 2, selfishness. If there's a conversation, it has to be about them. If it's not about them, they are not interested. Just be aware of those kinds of friends. An example would be, you know, you talk to them for a second and they're like, oh, hey girl, how's your day? And then the minute you start to say, oh, you know, I'm kind of having a bad day. You know, I had a situation at work or with family, and all they hear is that, just so they can turn around and talk about themselves, and they don't really care about your feelings. Which for me, it's really important for my friends to care about my feelings, because I care about their feelings. Selfish friend will only talk about themselves all the time. Selfish friend will do anything that they can to distract you from achieving your goals. They want you to hang out with them at night when they know you have something important to do in the morning. You have homework, and they'll get on the phone with you, and they'll talk and talk and talk and talk, and you can't finish your work. And this also falls on you, because if you know you have important stuff to do, you can say no. But the person who's watching this video and resonating, you probably have a problem with saying no in the first place. It is extremely important for friendships to be reciprocated. It's not a one-way street. Beware of people who just do not care about things that are important to you. It's only what's important to them. I have an example about a friend, and I think that this can fit pretty well under selfishness. Again, it's just little petty childish stuff, but when it eventually starts adding up, it's just like, this is crazy. So I had a friend, and we were out about, and we were in the city, and we were taking pictures. I'm interested in growing in my YouTube channel and on my Instagram, and I'm a singer, so I'm trying to get good promotional pictures and videos. And she is trying to be an influencer. So both of us, like, you would think that's a great pairing, because both of us are trying to go further, you know, on social media. But then later on in the day, it's like we go in the city and we're taking photos, and she only wants photos of her. Like, she doesn't stop to think like, oh, let me take a couple of photos of you because you're taking all these photos of me. And then when I finally spoke up and was like, hey, can you take a few photos of me? I know I was taking like all these nice photos, and I probably took like over 50 or 60, maybe even 70 photos of her. And when I asked her to take photos of me, she took like 8. And I was like, can you take some more? And they were such bad quality because she just did not want to do them. Because she was so selfish, the pictures were turning out like crap. And it's not that she doesn't know how to take pictures, it's that she really didn't want to, because she wanted the day to be about her. So beware of friends who have that kind of behavior. Number 3, gossip, drama, and lying. Do you have a friend who is always lying, who's always gossiping, who always has some kind of drama, and then somehow you get involved in it? If you do, that is a sign that you may be in an unhealthy friendship. The gossiping portion of this is just a note, but if you have a friend who's always gossiping and they're always telling you something that somebody said about you, you have to beware, because you don't know what they could be saying about you. It's like, you have all this tea on what people are saying about me, but what did you say about me? So beware of the gossip. And then the drama, just like people who always have stuff going on, and you know, if you live a little quiet existence, but when you get up with these people, there's always fights, there's always some sort of disruption in your life. They may be unhealthy for your life. They may be toxic. I know personally for me, when I'm by myself or when I'm with certain friends, I never have any drama, I'm never involved in any gossip, and I don't have to lie. If you had a friend who's always lying to you, or you always found yourself having to lie to cover up something that they did, one of the things that I couldn't stand about having this type of friend is they were always ready to tell you who you couldn't be friends with. I don't like that person. I don't want you to be friends with them. Like, you shouldn't talk to them. I'm not talking to them. Let's not talk to them. But on the flip side, if you ever had an issue with somebody else, like, they're still best friends with them. Like, I know I had been caught up in some drama, and I had an incident where I was friends with a girl who had been listening to me like go on and on about this guy. She started trying to get with him right after I told her that me and this guy were like talking and kind of going through it, and like prior to that there was no interest in this guy that I knew of. But the minute that she found out that we had been seeing each other and we'd been a thing and we were having problems, all of a sudden she started hanging out with him. She was like buddy with him. We'd call an Uber pool and she'd like hop in. She'd invite herself to places. She even invited herself to my birthday party because I didn't invite her, and she showed up. Gossip, drama, liars. Stay away from them. Possessive. Number 4 is possessive. If you have a friend who is possessive, chances are you are in an unhealthy friendship. Now, it's okay. Like, I'm protective of my friends. Possessive, not so much. Like, you can't tell people who to be friends with. You shouldn't be telling me, like, not to talk to my family or etc, etc. So if you have a friend who is possessive, I think this kind of goes without saying. I don't have to give any examples. If you have a friend who is possessive over you, who tells you who you can and can't hang out with, and you are only allowed to be their friend, but they can be friends with everybody else who they want to be, or they try and control what you wear or what you eat, you probably are in an unhealthy relationship or an unhealthy friendship. Somebody's trying to take ownership of you and trying to sabotage who you're friends with because they want you to be their only friend. Be careful. Number 5 is they exhaust you or they make you feel bad. Newsflash, the reason why we have friends is so we can feel good. So if you are friends with somebody who just drains all of your energy or who just makes you feel bad, you probably are in an unhealthy friendship. Have you ever had a friend who, like, whenever you're around them, there's so much negativity, they just suck the life out of you? Like, when you're by yourself, you're in such a cheery mood, you're like ready to sing in a musical, and then you get with them and then, like, you start just deteriorating. I know for me, that would happen to me. I'm usually in a pretty peppy and cheery mood on my own, but, like, I would get with a friend and they would just, like, kill my entire spirit. And before you know it, I'm a sponge, so I'd be, like, frowning and I'd be mad and people are like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, well, I don't really know. And I didn't really know because it'd just be like this person would just drain all of my joy. And then I would just be like, you don't want to be around people like that. Like, do you find yourself lying to get out of hanging out with them? Or do you feel guilty if you don't hang out with them? I know do you feel guilty if you don't hang out with them? I had a friend who was always, quote unquote, spiraling. So if I didn't hang out with her, she would say that she was spiraling, or she wasn't feeling good, or she was sick, and then I would feel guilty. I would feel like the reason why she was spiraling is because she needed to hang out with somebody and I didn't hang out with her, and now I'm a bad person because I didn't hang out with her when she needed somebody to hang out with her. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Also, I would say another example is if you're around somebody who you can't speak your mind to, it's like I don't care. I want to say what I want to say. I'm not a mean person and I don't really have mean things to say, but if I'm around you and you're my friend and I can't speak my mind to you because you are going to be mad at me for being honest, what is that even? And they just make you feel like crap after you hang out with them. You're like, whew. If it's your off day and you're hanging out with this person and you need an off day after an off day, that's a sign that you may have an unhealthy friend. I would say also, if you're always complaining about this person, chances are anybody who you're complaining to about this person is probably tired of hearing you complaining about this person and has told you that you need to stop being friends with this person because they're not good for you. I had that experience. I know I was friends with somebody and they were exhausting me and they were making me mad and I was annoyed and I was frustrated all the time. And other people were seeing it and they would ask me, like, why are you friends with her? If your friend or friends fall under one of those categories, I'm not saying that you are in an unhealthy friendship, but if 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of those traits are in your friend, chances are you may be in an unhealthy friendship. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow me. I'm gonna be doing more videos like this, including how to get out of these kinds of friendships or how to solve it if you do wanna remain friends with this person. I love you so much for watching. Rock and roll.